Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today with Questions with the Queen. Obviously, I am the Queen. I am sorry I'm a few minutes late, but you know how queens are. They cannot be prompt. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and give credit to the person that will be asking the questions, as well as the cameraman. That is my husband, Steve Knoll.
Hey there.
And if you tuned in at 1, he did his show, Plate Exchange, where he did 3 different belts. So hopefully if you tuned in for that, that's great. If not, you can watch it on YouTube under On the Ring Apron. Also, while you're doing that, go ahead and subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and look for On the Ring Apron, as well as you'll see Questions with the Queen on all sites. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump straight into the questions.
Okay, we're testing a new segment, new feature on our show today, so we're going to try to see if this ends up coming through, but it would. Our first question, and obviously you'll see them all coming in from my profile, so, you know, they're all going to look like where it is, but it gives us a visual component at the bottom. First question is, who is your all-time favorite tag team?
Oh, gosh. There have been so many. I can tell you I have 2, actually. One that's when I started was Christian and Edge. They would be the ones from the Attitude Era. But if we're talking now, then it would be obviously the Usos. I love them. I love everything they stand for. I love the fact that they love the fans. They're about family. They're about their work. But at the same time, I feel like Christian and Edge were the same way. So, I mean, you have Attitude Era, you know, tag team partners, and you have the present tag team partners who I feel, you know, those are my faves.
All right. Another question coming in here. Let me get that up here on the bottom here. There it is. If you could actually select a storyline to put in place right now, who would you like to see in that storyline if you're one of the writers in the back as we're going through it?
Okay. I know it might not be a popular one, but for me, I would like to see the storyline of Sasha finally getting her chance to actually take the SmackDown Women's title from her best friend Bayley. I want to see heel Sasha, like the night that she came back and she turned on Natalya. I want to see that Sasha, you know, go after what she feels what she feels she deserves. That's hers. So I would love to see that. I'd like to see it kind of build up from, okay, I'm going to help you, and now I'm getting to the point I'm tired of helping you. I feel like all you do is get in my way, and now I just want to take the title off you. That's what I would like to see.
Excellent choice.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next question coming in. In your opinion, who is the greatest faction in current WWE or NXT? Actually, the question, I believe, asking history, so you can go with current or former.
Okay, so y'all know how big of a Shield fan I am or was, and technically, honestly, in my mind, I believe they still live on. I loved the Shield. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. Everybody had a part to play to make sure they actually not only got to the top when they came in, but they stayed on top. Now, if you're asking me about another faction, I would have to say right now, if you look at NXT the way I look at it, the Undisputed Era, they are the same way as the Shield. It's the whole pack mentality. We're going to get to the top and we're going to stay on top. And as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't change nothing about either faction. Now, if we're going back further in time, I'd say Evolution. So those would be my 3.
All right. Our next question coming in is, do you see wrestling as a whole being able to survive this pandemic in its current state, or do you believe that there will be differences in WWE or in just wrestling in general once this is over?
I feel like as a community, and I am part of that community, I am a huge fan, and as a huge fan, I call myself a super fan. I feel like with the way things are going right now, I feel like WWE has been the only thing that has been standing as far as anything sports related, more entertainment. But in my opinion, with that being said, I do feel like WWE is thriving, but I feel like once everything is over and we can get back to being able to go to the live events, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, house shows, as well as pay-per-views, I feel like it would give the audience more of a chance to say, to be appreciative of what we didn't have when we were quarantined like we are now. So I feel like it will thrive right now, but more so when we get back to being in person and getting to see each other and getting to hang out and getting to root for everybody together as a whole. Because together as a whole, we're really, really, really loud.
And that actually, ironically, brings us into another question, which is, and it kind of goes along the same lines, what do you miss most about attending live events?
The thing I missed most is actually getting to be able to dress up, cosplay as my favorite superstar. I miss, not only that, I miss getting to go and actually stand in the lines, because usually I am very unappreciative of having to be in the lines and having to wait with everybody else. But with us being quarantined, I feel like that would be something I'm grateful for. So getting to dress up and cosplay as my favorite superstar, getting to actually stand in the line with everybody else that I hadn't been able to see, and then being able to get in there, sit down, and actually take the time to enjoy everybody's presence around me. Again, like I said, we are a very, very, very loud community. We boo who we want, we cheer who we want, we love who we want. And as you can see, if you take the time to go online, doesn't matter if it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, we dress up as who we want to represent what they mean to us. So that, honestly, that is what I miss. I miss the camaraderie.
I agree with that answer. If you guys look through our site, you can see our cosplays and whatnot throughout the time. Our next one, what is your favorite meet and greet that you've ever had?
Oh gosh, like I said, I believe I actually answered this on a previous one, but the answer will not change. I'm going to tell you, Finn Balor. I love him. His biggest stan, in my opinion. I have literally everything, but I've met him twice, and like I said, I feel like he is so sweet and so genuine. He's humbled and he's down to earth. He takes that time to make sure you are the only person, like the one-on-one. That's a rarity for this business, especially when you're kind of, you pay your money and then you go and then you feel like you're being rushed. Some superstars, and Finn is one of them, who will take the time and say, I'm not done talking, our conversation's not done, I want to have another couple of minutes. And yes, it might take longer for everybody to get through, but he appreciates his fans, he loves his fans, and there's nothing, that he would not do. So honestly, Finn is my favorite of all time. I love them. As you can see, I'm rocking the swag and also the mug, which you can get on WWEshop.com.
One question that I meant to drop in here on our question segment from our audience, but ended up going through as a comment, so I'll go ahead and drop it through. Okay. One match all time that you could put on repeat on your TV to just watch it over and over again and it never gets old. What match is it?
Oh gosh. Oh wow. There are so many matches that I would love to see on repeat. Honestly, I would have to say any from the Shield. Again, I'm a huge Shield fan. I feel like I am their biggest stan. Someone might disagree with that, but I would love to see any Shield match on repeat over and over and over and over again. Because I feel like as a faction, as one of my favorite factions, I feel like they had a lot to bring to the table, and they made sure not only when they busted through into the WWE that they stayed on top and they got to the top. And every match that they had was a spectacular one to me. And you don't find many factions that could actually, every time they come out, make themselves known, make their presence known, and make it to where people got in front of their TV and wanted to watch. So, honestly, yeah.
Okay, going back to our question a little while ago, who is your ultimate tag team match if you could set one up? Spoiler, I'm sure the Shield's going to be one of them.
When you're asking that, my all-time,
Like, if you could set up a tag team match between any two tag teams in the history of wrestling, who's in it?
Oh, like I stated before, I'd love to see the Usos go up against Christian and Edge. Obviously, Christian and Edge were more of the tables, ladder, chairs. But I feel like the Usos would thrive in that, because I feel like the Usos, honestly, I don't think there's something they wouldn't do. So those would be my two favorite tag teams, honestly. I want to see them put on a match. I feel like, to me, that would be the dream match.
A couple of folks in here questioning that they're the biggest Shield fan, so it sounds like you might have a little folks wanting to argue with you here on this one.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I'm not up for, like, I don't want to argue, but if you feel like you're the biggest Shield fan, that's fine. Then that gives us something to talk about, something I may not know that you know. And honestly, that is part of being a fan, or that's part of being a stan, is to sit here and say, okay, well, I know this, you know that, let's get together and talk about it. So honestly, we would just make a group of it. The biggest Shield fans, the biggest Shield stans. There you go.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Next question coming in. How did you come up with the idea and logo for your show?
Obviously, Questions with the Queen, again, was kind of, like I've stated before, was kind of thrown together. I didn't know if it was going to actually take the time to thrive and actually take off. But obviously, Questions with the Queen obviously came from a picture I saw online where a black woman with a crown on her head, and obviously being what I am, I'm black, and I feel like every woman, black, white, Indian, Mexican, I feel like we're all queens in that right. So that's how I kind of came up with the logo.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, next one coming in. Who is your WWE inspiration?
My WWE inspiration, honestly, Trish. I mean, I know you hear me say Trish a lot, but in my opinion, she's tough, she is strong, she is competitive, she gives everything, she gives her all, she represents and she embodies what, you want a woman to be as far as a superstar. Not a diva, not just a wrestler, but a superstar. She actually went out night after night after night. She was a fighting champion, and she put everything out there, and she put everything in the ring for every match that she had. Plus, I felt like she was very sweet in person. She took the time. Again, like I said, one of the rarities of, having fans is actually being able to take the time and actually make it one-on-one where it's just you and them. So, as my answer being said, it would be Trish.
Okay. Got time for one more question here on this week's segment.
Okay.
That one comes from a fan out here in the crowd. What should a beginner, if you were a person wanting to get into WWE and you're a beginner at this, what do you need to look at to get caught up?
I'd say you would have to start with the WrestleMania that just took place and kind of go from there and watch Monday Night Raw, NXT, as well as SmackDown. Also, if you want to do like kind of a catch-up, I would go through Wikipedia for the different brands, and I would actually take the time and I would look through the most recent stuff, which will give you, it kind of would fill in the gaps and help you understand the storylines. Also, if you have a friend who's into WWE, per se myself, because I don't have a problem with answering questions, I would ask a friend. So that's how I would get into it, to get all the gaps filled in for the different storylines and the different people. And if you don't know who they are, then just talk to someone. That's what I would say. That's how I would go about it. And I know when I first started, and I, again, started back in 2005, Steven, my husband, at the time was my boyfriend. He was the one that had to fill me in with the different storylines because I was so behind, when I started watching. Yeah, just go to a friend, ask a friend, go to the internet, look through there, and actually take the time, if you have the network, to watch it, and if you have the stations, to watch the different brands. That's what I would do to catch up.
Okay, so that takes care of a handful of our questions. We still have many more that we're going to go through, but simply just don't have enough time in each weekly segment. But we do move those questions along to that way you can make sure. But if you have a question and you're in our audience, if you actually look at the bottom of the Instagram live segment, you'll see the little icon next to comment that has the little question mark box. You can actually type your questions in there, and they pop up on our end where we can have them show up during any of our live shows. So make sure if you ever have questions and you're in our audience, make sure you throw them in right there. Of course, if you also throw them in as a comment, we'll make sure they get added in there as well.
Either way, all questions will be answered. If I did not answer your question this week, just know that I will take the time and I will filter through all the questions over the last couple of weeks, and I will answer them on future episodes. So if you take the time to tune in every Saturday at 2 o'clock, you will get your questions answered. Now, like on the days we have pay-per-views, I will not be doing a segment with questions with the Queen, so they will be moved to the following Saturday. So with that being said, any question that did not get answered today will get answered next Saturday. So tune in. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up with a question for you guys in the audience. Give me a second here. My question is, if you can literally see it on my whiteboard, okay, my question to you is, another Money in the Bank. Who are you all pulling for, man or woman, in Money in the Bank? Why do you believe they are deserving? And give me an explanation. Here are all the men. You have Bryan, you have Daniel Bryan, Aleister Black, Apollo Crews, Rey Mysterio, King Corbin, and then for number 6, you either have Otis or Dolph. And the reason I have it like that is because they have not had the match yet. But on the women's side, you have Dana Brooke, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Nia Jax, Lacey, and again, it's either going to be Mella or Mandy. So in the comments when I post the question, give me your answer and give me your explanation. You can do both men and women, and you can actually make it as detailed or as short as you want to. But with that being said, that is my question for the week to you guys. I want to go ahead and take the time and say I want y'all to stay safe, stay in, sanitize, wash your hands, do what you have to do to keep yourself protected. And with that being said, I will see everybody next week. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you. Goodbye.